What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about A Million Worlds with You, the last book in the Firebird Trilogy by Claudia Gray. So, yet again, just like all of the other books, this book was so unbelievably over the top, and I'm very happy to be done with the series. I'm happy that I finished all of it. I was interested to know how it ended. I'm glad that I finally know all of that, and I did come out of it liking some of the characters more. I did come out of it liking some of the plot points that she set up just a little bit more, but overall this series was just okay. It's one of those that I look back on and it was a fun read because they're so over the top, they're so over dramatic, they're so just silly and fun and that kind of thing, so I'm happy that I read it. But from a storytelling standpoint, there's just not much there. They are so ridiculous because it is about the parallel dimensions and all this kind of stuff, and the characters themselves just weren't that believable, they weren't that likable, so it did just fall a little bit flat. But overall, as a series, it's definitely a fun read, and I am very glad that I got a chance to read it because I do like Claudia Gray and I really like what she has to say here about soulmates. But for those of you guys who don't know, so in the last book, when we left off, we discovered that there was this evil universe called the Home Office where it's full of evil versions of everybody, and they want to destroy all of these other worlds because in that universe, Marguerite's sister is dead and her parents are like, oh no, I want to save her, so we're gonna kill everybody. And I don't really understand why we were doing all of that, but we open up with this book with Marguerite, our Marguerite, chasing the evil Marguerite, who she calls Wicked, throughout all of these dimensions. And every time she jumps into her body, Wicked has just jumped out. And when she did that, she was trying to kill that Marguerite. So every time she jumps in, it's oh no, I have to save myself from drowning because I drove myself off the road. Or, oh no, I'm outside of a spaceship and I'm about to die. That kind of stuff. I still don't really understand why we were doing this and why the perfect travelers and all that kind of weirdness. But what I did was towards the end of the book, we started to get a lot more development from the Wicked character, which is what I wanted, because Marguerite was so adamant that she could never be Wicked. She didn't understand why Wicked wanted to kill everybody, why she took such glee in it. But I kept thinking, I'm girl, at the end of the day, it's still you, because she's been such an advocate for with Paul, saying that no matter what, Paul is still Paul, something in your soul stays the same every time. That's why they can fall in love with each other throughout all of these different dimensions. So for her to be so set that this could never be her just felt a little bit hypocritical. She does start to learn and understand Wicked as the book goes on, and it gets really heavy, but what I don't like is that Wicked is never confronted about any of this. Marguerite just kind of has all of these understandings and revelations, but we never actually confront Wicked. We never actually get to see her come back from anything, and to me that made the ending just feel very mustache twirly, evil villainous kind of thing. I did think that the ending was very unsatisfying, but at the same time I was not surprised at all in how it ended. Kind of in that same vein, Paul's character in this was so sequelitis bad. In the second book it was kind of whatever because we were trying to assemble his soul back together, so naturally when we finally met him in the second book he was gonna be a little bit out of sorts and torn to pieces. But man, in this book he got so vampire teen, I can't be with you, I'm a dangerous thing and I will only hurt you and we'll break each other's hearts. And I was bro, get it together. It got really annoying to the point where I just did not care about the romance anymore. To be fair, I'm not a huge fan of Marguerite either. She also had her problems, but man, it was just so annoying, and they brought it up every time those characters were together, and I was just can we not? But what did surprise me is that the Theo character I actually really liked, and by the end of this book I feel he's the only one that actually gets this really awesome arc where he really changes a lot, where I felt at the end of this book his arc and his ending felt satisfying, and I felt we had earned it and it felt really good. He was the only character that was like that though. That does kind of concern me because there shouldn't just be one character to get an arc, and it also should not be a side character. It should, if anything, be your main protagonist or the love interest, that kind of thing, instead of the secondary love triangle character. But whatever, I am still glad that we got it. I was very surprised that we got it because the trajectory introductory of these books, again, they're just over the top and over dramatic, and there's all these parallel universes and this just like crazy villainous plot and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really expecting to get down into it because we just weren't really seeing that. So it was a nice surprise. Overall, what I like about Claudia Gray's writing is that she does have something interesting to say about soulmates, and she does have something interesting to say about like how two people will find each other again and again. I do like how she writes romance because I really love like her Lost Stars book. I really think that she does a good job when she writes like a lot of different Star Wars books. But when it came to this, I felt like the plot really hindered her. She couldn't get down and like deal with these characters and deal with these emotions and draw all of that stuff out because her plot was so over the top. Her plot was so involved, it was so complicated that it just made it so that you couldn't really focus on the characters, and because of that, they definitely started to feel flat. Overall, I am giving this book a C+. I would actually recommend this series just because they are fun. They're very silly, but that is what makes it fun. They're especially fun to read with other people, I think. But this is definitely not where you want to look if you're looking for like a deep story about soulmates and like alternate dimensions, all that kind of stuff. No, this is definitely not that. This is definitely just for fun. It's silly, it's over the top, it's over dramatic. It's not going to be for everybody, but it was a cool read. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!